Yo guys, welcome to today's video. Today, I'm going to be showing you the ultimate support build for the Nether. And as we always do, we're starting with the subclass. We're obviously running the Well of Radiance. This is an obvious choice. We're using the Healing Rift, the Burst Glide, the Incinerator Snap. If you want more of a range melee to proc Ember of Torches, you could totally do that, but we're using Incinerator Snap to proc an Ignition off of the one melee. And then obviously the Healing Nade, we need the Healing Nade for the helmet. Touch of Flame, this will be buffing our Healing Nade. Helion will be getting a ton of ignitions and some kills for us. And for the fragments, Ember of Mercy, whenever we revive an ally, we gain restoration, and so do they. Ember Benevolence, this is the ultimate fragment. This fragment is insane. Whenever we give Cure, Restoration, or Radiant to our allies, we gain melee regen, grenade regen, class ability regen, which is insane for this build. You'll see in the gameplay, we literally can basically spam our Healing Nade and Rift and melee from this thing, and it procs quite a lot. I think there's like a short cooldown between uses, but this is absolutely insane. And obviously, we're using Ember of Torches, and that's where the melee comes in. So whenever we use our melee, we'll give our allies Radiance and ourselves Radiance as well. So, like I said, if you want to have that more range melee to proc it, you can. But like I said, we're using Snap to get that ignition for Ember of Blistering. So whenever we defeat targets with solar ignitions, grants grenade energy. And the Snap's not the only way we're getting ignitions. Obviously, Helion is also doing it. And then two of our weapons are also doing it. But you could also, if you wanted to, you could also use Ember of Wonder to make an orb off solar ignitions. You can also use Ember of Ashes to work with some of the weapons and some of the other stuff. So there's a couple options here. I'm using Ember of Blistering just to get that grenade back because it's the main piece of the build. And for the armor, so obviously the helmet is going to be the Speaker's Sight. This dropped with the final shape. And whenever we throw our healing grenade, it spawns a turret, a healing turret essentially, that'll give you and your allies restoration. I believe it gives the user ×2 restoration. I could be wrong on that. And then gives your allies ×1 restoration. And with the way the build is set up, we'll be able to drop multiple of these. And I think they do stack, because if there's like 3, you can heal all of them at, like, you can heal your teammates multiple times with like all the turrets. So it's like stacking a ton of healing. And I think they also changed it to where if you don't need healing, it'll focus on someone who does. So we're running Strand Siphon. This is going to be for our main weapon. And then we're using Radiant Light and Powerful Friends. This build is completely built around team play. For the gloves, we're running Grenade Kickstart. This is an obvious to get a fat chunk of grenade energy back. And then with Ember Benevolence, you basically get your grenade back instantly along with the other abilities, which is also why we're running Impact Induction. So whenever we cause damage with the powered melee, we're also getting some grenade back. And then whenever we damage with our melee, we also get some class ability back. And for the armor, the resistances I chose are specific to the Nether. So Stasis and Strain Resistance are for the Subjugators. And then the Void Resistance is for the big Meatball boss. But you could run whatever you want here. You don't necessarily need any of this. You get so much healing that it doesn't necessarily matter. And for the boots, we're running Invigoration, Innervation, and Absolution. So we're getting melee and grenade energy back specifically there. And then we're getting energy for everything here. So it's a perfect synergy there. And for the bond, we're using Reaper, Powerful Attraction, and Outreach. These two are a beautiful combo. So whenever we use our Rift, we'll make an orb on our next kill. And then we can pick up any orbs in the area whenever we use our Rift. So it'll suck those orbs up. And then this is to give some melee energy. This will also depend on what you need. I only have 3 strength or 30 strength or whatever, so I wanted to get a little bit more melee back. And for the weapons I'm actually using, we're using the Adamantite Adept with Reciprocity and Frenzy. Basically what the first perk does is whenever you rapidly heal, you also gain some healing from it. And then Frenzy is Frenzy. Everyone knows what Frenzy is. If you don't have Frenzy, you can also use Circle of Life, which I guess in a certain situation could be better because the two would have perfect synergy, whereas Frenzy you have to wait. And for the energy weapon, we're using Aberrant Action with Heal Clip Incandescent. I think this speaks for itself why this is good. And then for the heavy, we're using Dragon's Breath. Also, I feel like this speaks for itself. It's doing ignitions. It does very good damage, perfect synergy. Everything here is working together. You could use a different weapon here if you wanted, but I would say use this because you can kind of just throw it out and then shoot with your energy to do more damage. I feel like it's perfect. All right, guys, so that is the build. This build is going to absolutely destroy the Nether because you're going to be the ultimate support player for your 2 teammates. So honestly, what you could do, go in with 2 Arctitans, you play support, and you're going to absolutely run over Expert Nether. You already kind of can anyway, But with this build, your teammates will be unkillable, you'll also be unkillable, and you'll still do big damage. So take this into the Nether right now if you're a support player. This build's not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. But if you want to be a support player, I will say the gameplay you're going to see, I will say it was pretty fun. But if it's not for you, I understand. But if you are, take this in because it'll dominate. But anyway, let's get into some gameplay.